Okay, I gotta wrap things up pretty shortly. Sorry, that was my Diet Coke. Okay, I cleaned up my shaft. I filed it. And that did seem to make a difference. Show you. See that? Don't get all excited now. I think that's bad. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Okay, welcome back to Lepisode 3 of Circus Voltaire. I'm glad everybody's loving the LEP action. If you don't know what LEP is, well, there's a dude that does high-end pinball restorations. His name's Chris Hutchinson, I think, or Hutchinson. He is HEP, high-end pins, and he does the most insane museum quality, better than new restorations, and it is about as good as any machine can ever look. I, on the other hand, I kind of do the opposite. I try and keep the price in check. I kind of am a lot more price conscientious when I do certain things. So I am LEP, low-end pins. And for all you lepers out there, you know what it is. So a couple people messaged me about my Circus Voltaire because I got these weird decals on it, like this here, and this here, and this here, and then one over here. So a couple different people reached out and said, Michael, you actually have a sample Circus Voltaire. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know exactly what that means, so I've done a lot of research in the meanwhile. So I guess there's sort of a few phases of playfields. They start out with the prototypes where they're developing and figuring shit out, and the whitewoods and whatnot. Then there's the next step, which is the sample playfields, which I guess are for kind of like training the employees and sort of halfway in between prototype and production games, where they can dial it in and tweak it however they like. Apparently, I have a sample playfield, and it's estimated that there are only 200, give or take, of them. So I've read up on what are the differences between the sample and the prototypes and the production games. And live here, right now with you, we're going to look at what I've got and see the differences here. So first thing I wanted to check, from what I read, the earliest sample machine, I was going to say playfield, was produced August 8th. This whole machine was produced August 25th. So it's pretty early, all things considered. But there may be a date on the playfield itself, come to think of it. So let's see if we can see a date somewhere there. Sometimes they're along here. Well, that's more of a stern thing, I guess. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to pull off the apron and see if there's a separate date. But anyway, so it's pretty early, all things considered. The next thing is production playfields say defeat the ringmaster. Well, check this out. I just glanced at it now. I didn't mean to cheat, but this is the first time I actually noticed it. I never noticed it through episode 1 or 2. Samples say tickle the ringmaster. And I guess in some versions of the code, I'm not sure which, if you hit the ringmaster, he says something like, oh, it tickles. And now it kind of makes sense, because that's what it initially was. Tickle the ringmaster. It's very bizarre. I like defeat the ringmaster better. But there you go. Friggin' first example of the sample there, along with these decals, which were added. I think there was a kit sent out or something where the operator could add these on, something like that. Anyway, next thing we're going to look at is this here. This was also an add-on because the insert underneath this, I am guessing, says something different. Let me just pull that up and I'll show you. So this is what that insert looks like on the samples. Visit ring 3. And in production games, it looks like more like this, but not a decal. Defeated all ringmasters was added. So I'm kind of wondering if we can sort of look at the back side of that. I wonder if it will say visit ring 3 under there. I don't know if that's plausible or not. But before I lift the playfield, there's one thing that I'm excited to check. Apparently, John Papaduke himself signed all of the install 4 balls decals on all the samples. So, for the first time here live together, we're going to look and see if that is the case. Be kind of a fun little Easter egg if it is true on my example. Holy hell, check it out. There it is. That is the John Papaduke sample signature. Pretty freaking cool. It's just a little scribble, but that is neat. Okay, what do you friggin' know? Okay, we're going to lift the playfield, see if we can see this insert from underneath, and there's another at least thing or two I want to check. Okay, one thing I was just going to check, which I was pretty sure was not the case, is if there's any red boards, red lamp boards. That usually means prototype. I didn't think mine was prototype. So there are no red boards. But in order to check out this insert from underneath, I'm going to have to pull off this lamp board. Hey, check it out. Freaking cool. What's it say again? What is it? Visit ring 3? It's hard to read upside down and backwards, but yeah, there it is. That is the sample insert covered up with the adjustment. Now there's one other thing here too, and I'm seeing it right now. Initially, in the prototype, I guess there was, they were going to put an eddy sensor underneath the menagerie ball, but that got pulled. But there is an insert still remaining in the sample games for the eddy sensor that never made it in. So look at that. There's an insert there that is not used. You know, it would be kind of cool to light that up. Yeah, you know, I mean, I could maybe tie it into this flasher or something. So whenever this goes off, that goes off, I could add an extra flasher. So I wonder if anybody's ever done that. I'm going to light that up. I got to write that on my list. That is freaking cool. Okay, there's one last thing to check. It's the ringmaster himself, whether he's the skinny one or the fat one. I am thinking that he is the fat one because there is a kit that was sent out to operators because when they changed from the skinny head to the fat head, the ball would get stuck here and here. So they sent out these posts, which you literally just drilled into the playfield, which kind of sucks, right? But what you gonna do? All the other posts are drilled in too, but these 2 posts were added after the fact. So I'm guessing I have the fat head because with the skinny head, the ball wouldn't get stuck in this little void. But I wasn't really paying attention. I don't see why anybody would install these posts unless it wasn't for the fat head being there. So I think, will he come up by himself here? Oh, we're gonna go through ringmaster test again. this fails, I will be, I'll install balls. I thought my balls were in there. Why does it want to have balls to do a motor test? Where's my fourth ball? Here we go. Now you got to close the door. All right, that's good news. So that is the fat head. I'll show you what the skinny head looks like. Here's a little video I pulled up. You can see this is the skinny head. You can see his chin's kind of more V-shaped, and he has some pretty big frills on his neck there. So have a look at that, and then compare that to this. Not as frilly. It's all beefed out to prevent the ball. I guess the ball sometimes would get stuck here, and then the ringmaster, when it would go down, would pull the ball into the cabinet. So that's why they had to change. And I guess the early ringmaster voice was pretty bad too, I think. Let's see if we can hear him right here.
That's the best you got?
Definitely a little different. I'd say I probably like the newer version of the ringmaster voice. But there we have it. I've got myself pretty rare sample playfield in pretty nice shape too. So honestly, I don't know if that changes the value really, but maybe, perhaps. And I should look at this too. Why am I missing a decal there and there? There's 3 out of the 5. Am I actually missing anything, or is that normal? So, oh, and one other thing. I did just order a bell on Amazon for like $8, $8.26. So I'll be adding the bell mod onto that. I should be getting that tomorrow. And also, if you've been enjoying the new intro, like I have been, that is all because of Daniel D. Dummer on YouTube. He, guess he tried to send me a message like several months ago, and it must have went to my spam folder because I just didn't get it and never replied to him. And then many months later, just recently, he's like, hey, I have this little clip for you if you're interested. I'm like, well, hell yeah, that's amazing. He's like, oh, okay, well, I tried to reach out to you before. I'm like, well, I'm glad you didn't think I was ignoring you, because I certainly wasn't, because that is freaking awesome. So thanks again, and shout out to D. Dummer for creating that awesome intro. I must interrupt these Circus Voltaire shenanigans for a brief little update. I just went to look at a Shaq Attack, and I brought it back. So I paid too much money for it, but I'm a sucker for all things pinball. But the icing on the cake is that he tossed in a free 12-pack of Stella beer. How do you turn that down? Also, one of those Chinese skill stop slot machines that may or may not work. So that is the haul for today. I'll show you the action once I unload. All right, here's the shack. There's the Chinese slot machine. Can't really see it very well. I'm taking that home. I'm gonna go mess with it at home. This is just gonna hang out at storage for now until the weather gets better. And most importantly, there's 12 Stella there, and another 12 there. Oh yeah. Okay, I just unloaded, and I've got someone apparently inspecting all of my actions here. Everything's good, thumbs up. Thank you. Honestly, I never even really looked at this thing. Just kind of came with the deal. So I just loaded it up. I don't even know. What is this? Baseball? Ah, baseball. Who wants to play baseball themed slot machine? I mean, this guy looks fun. These things can get pretty loud and obnoxious and animated and crazy light shows, so I'll see if this thing works when I bring it home. Alright, here's the Shaq Attack. It's in average condition. Played a game while I was at the guy's house. His name was Jeff, and he was in London, my hometown, so it's like a 12-minute drive. That's nice. It's always nice. Very convenient. But, yeah, like I said, average condition. But I haven't played a whole lot of Shaq Attack, so I'm excited to learn the rules. I know it doesn't get a whole lot of love, but that's okay. It's pinball, so I'll love it. But, yeah, there's the haul for the day. Now, back to Circus Voltaire. So I just went to start a game. I don't even remember what I was going to do. I think I was going to check the level of the ringmaster, make sure it's nice and flush to the playfield. But I start the game and the right flipper sticks up. So I'm like, oh, that stupid opto board again. So the problem is that I had hit the flipper codes. I was trying some flipper codes that didn't work. I hit the button so hard that that was actually sticking out and stuck. I can't get it stuck now, which is a good thing. So if you hit the flipper button too hard, the interrupter would get stuck on the opto and the flipper would stay up. I'm like trying to mess with it again. Like, screw this old piece of crap warped opto interrupter. This guy here. You see that? That's garbage. Garbage. I feel like this, I don't know where this came from, but I think this is a repro, and I've had other opto interrupters that I've ordered that have also been crap. So I'm blaming that. Anyway, so I put on what I believe to be an original, and it was actually still sticking. So I got rid of my screw that I had on the back there, and still sticking. But see where this flipper button is? It's like a knot of wood here or something. Like it's, or just when they drilled it out, they lost a bit of wood here, lost a bit of wood here. So it's just not the best angle in town. So I had to put a washer there, remove my screw, put in a new opto interrupter. And finally, that flipper is now working fine. All right, someone mentioned that they thought my ringmaster was not flush to the playfield, which is important because if it's not and this thing is sticking up a little bit, it's going to get destroyed by the ball. So, start a game here.
Circus Voltaire.
And I'd say that is pretty friggin' flush, so I don't need to mess with that, which is nice. This is kind of like a very thin, flimsy piece of metal. I have a different one somewhere else. Is it the same? Okay, so it's a thick piece with a little thin layer on top. So that is correct, but that is what can happen if it's not flush. It will get beat. And then the magnet, of course, pulling the ball into the decal will cause that kind of damage. But mine is good to go. This is a lesson in lep for all you leppers out there. A lot of the times, these nylon feet on the back of your machine, because the machine has been moved so many times over the years, they get worn right down. Sometimes they're worn right off to, there's just a little metal pin left in there. So what you can do is buy some new, nice, shiny nylon feet and install them. And if you drop them, you better find them, because you don't want to friggin' step on them, because that would really be especially leppy. Here we go. And that could friggin' hurt. So, here's your lepping trick for the day. Now, the heads also have these feet. And I think it's just for like when they're sitting on the factory floor. And once the head is installed, they never get touched. So these are practically NOS. So you just steal these guys from your heads. and you lep that shit right up. Now these ones weren't all that horrible. They're actually much better than I've seen, but for the low, low price of nothing, got a brand new set. Okay, I still have yet to actually get started. Oh, if you hear anything in the background, it is the North American Pinball Championships. It is happening in Rochester, New York right now. All the best in the world competing. Got several Canadians in there. So our Jack Tadman, I think, just got defeated by Donovan Stepp, possibly? Is that who it was? Drew Sitch got defeated by Acciari. I should actually check my facts before I, tell you results that may or may not be true. Anyway, while you weren't looking, well, last time I was down here, before I wrapped up, I did clean all these playfield switches with my Dremel wire brush. So the slings, rebound switch, and I think there was another one somewhere else. I cleaned my target faces, so they're nice. And the other thing I did, this thing was kind of a little loose and floppy, so I banged it back down into the playfield. There's no nuts on the other side, so you just had to hammer these down, and this is much more stable now. So I think we're finally all caught up and we can actually start doing stuff. So I think I will start LEDing and rubbering the playfield. Yeah, I was right. Our Jack Tadman crushed it round 1 against Jamie Woodward, and then lost to Donovan Stepp in round 2, 4-2. This was a battle of Manitoba versus Ontario here. Drew Sitch and Mike Castleman. Drew ended up winning that match, and that's who he ended up playing. Zach McCarthy, probably number 1 seed or top 4 anyway, and got crushed. So there's another Canadian out. One more Canadian update, our buddy John Cotman from Calgary did win round 1, but lost in round 2. Okay, last update, because I forgot Miles Grant from BC. He won round 1. He won round 2, and is up against Eric friggin' Stone right now, and up 3-2, race to 4. So maybe in an hour I'll report back and see if there's any Canadians left. Okay, I think I have every socket populated with a bulb, including the corner. I don't really know how to remove this thing. I didn't look underneath, so I just unscrewed this plastic, twisted it out of the way, installed the bulb. Voila. But I think I've got all my bulbs. I went natural on this one. I went warm on Congo, but I felt like this is a more natural white type game. Except the pop bumpers, I went warm because they have red pop bumper caps. And one thing I want to do first before we turn it on and see what it looks like is remove the apron, see if it's filthy under there, and see if there is that extra little Easter egg that I know there was another one somewhere, but let's see. That's another Hanley Easter egg. Is it under the apron? What do we got? Bunch of names here. Oh, Deal is in Linda Deal. I noticed her initials over here as well. She's the artist. Anyway, all these people that were involved. More stuff over here, but literally nothing under the apron. No print whatsoever, and hardly need to clean it. I'll give it a wipe, but it is in real nice shape. I know, somewhere, Jews TNT, that there is another Hanley shout out somewhere. What's that say? Wreckable free zone. And you're welcome. Okay, there's actually one light bulb that I almost missed underneath the apron. So I thought it would be fun to add a bit of color to that one. So I made that one red. So let's turn off our lights. and turn on the game. I should probably throw in this last ball, else it's going to be grumpy. Zoom out. Power this on. See what it looks like. Okay. Well, got a warm bulb here. Man, this playfield looks so dark with all the other lights out. Gonna have to remedy that. But once everything else is LED'd, I'm sure that will brighten up. But man, oh man, if I have to add spotlights, I will. But it's a start. It's a start. Yep, I'm happy with the natural white on this. And oh, the red. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I can live with that. Okay, so time for rubbers. All right, everybody, be on your best behavior. I think I hear the inspector somewhere. Ellie? Ah, there you are. This is our new favorite perch. So you can survey the whole operations from this this area here. I'm gonna actually build a nice little ledge for her so she can not just sit like that for hours at a time. Anyway, my plumber's calling. I'll be back. All right, apparently everything is good to go. Ellie's done her inspection and she's gone. I don't know where she went. But like I said, I'm gonna cut a little ledge here so that, you know, I'm just gonna screw it right to the windowsill, and then she can have a nice little perch up there and she can keep a nice close eye on me. Okay, this is my Titan sample pack of clear rubbers, and it allowed me to do Congo mostly, and now Circus Voltaire, and I still got a bunch left. I did add some transparents to the plastics as well. That guy and that guy. Those are a bitch to get off, by the way. I had to like use little snippers to try and assist, otherwise I'm gonna break the friggin' plastic. But I succeeded, except for 3.5 inch the long rubbers. Other than that, check it out. I like how the light shines through these guys. Really illuminates the rubbers nicely. I just have orange flipper rubbers for now, because I only have one purple. And I am going to go purple, but those are just kind of like fill-ins. But I managed to muster up all the rest of the rubbers. Oh, and I went with pink for the cliffy posts, because there's a lot of pink in the playfield. You can see all 4 cliffy posts in this angle here. I cleaned and tightened every single of the red posts. There are a few more rubbers back here. And then around the ringmaster, I did remove these big washers that were on top of these posts for the, like, you know, ball stuck kit. So that looks cosmetically a lot better, I think. And then the other side here looks good. So I might see if Kevin happens to have a few 3.5 inch, and then I don't really have to wait a week or 2 or 3 for the Titan rubbers to arrive, because that's all I need is just 3.5 inch. And these black ones are kind of loose and flimsy, so I'm not going to leave them. White looks dumb, so I got to go transparent. So if I have to wait, I have to wait, but I was banking on it anyways. But let's put the playfield in, kind of have a look here, see what it's looking like. Yeah, I think that will help maybe like 5%, 10% to illuminate the playfield a little bit better as well. But yeah, looking very good. Okay, I gotta wrap things up pretty shortly. Sorry, that was my Diet Coke. And I'm gonna just finish on this shooter rod. I'm gonna quote unquote rebuild it with a new spring and a new shooter tip. Transparent I will go, and just clean everything up. So there's your before. Okay, here's all our parts and pieces. This is the original shooter rod, by the way. This is a John Papaduke staple. He did that for all of his games. The spring's fine, washer's fine. I don't really love these clips that go here. I might just grab a standard old E-clip. They're a pain in the butt. This is just old and compressed. This sleeve, for whatever reason, was a bit of a challenge to get off, and it's being really stubborn right here. I don't know why, but I have to fight that on and off. So I don't think the rod is warped. I don't think there's any mushrooming going on there. Be a tiny bit. Maybe we'll give a little file to it, and possibly, yeah, probably change the sleeve as well. Okay, I cleaned up my shaft. I filed it, and that did seem to make a difference. Let's try and show you. See that? Don't get all excited now, but it's definitely better. But I am going to add a new sleeve, new tip, new spring, and I'm getting rid of this thing and I'm upgrading to that. So there you go. All right, all this can go into the garbage. And here is the finished product. Looks good. Make sure my tip's on there nicely. And yeah, beautiful. All right, I'm gonna wrap up this episode. We will see you guys next time. All right, I've come to the Graisley garage. Kevin has a care package for me, and I just spotted it on the table, hanging out with Ronald. Check this out, Circus Voltaire care package, along with a piece of indie that is friggin' awesome. I love that. I think that's bad.